Slowly, the Oladipo household began to change. The arguments became less frequent, and there was more laughter. Other neighbors noticed and began to wonder what had happened. In the bustling city of Lagos, there lived a man named Chinedu and his wife, Adora. Chinedu was a gentle and kind man, and Adora was both strong and wise. They worked at the same company, a large advertising firm. But there was something special about their work life. Adora was Chinedu's boss. One sunny morning, Chinedu woke up to the smell of Adora's delicious jollof rice. He smiled, knowing how much she loved to cook for him. "Good morning, my dear," he greeted her. "Good morning, Nedu," Adora replied with a warm smile. "Breakfast is ready." At the office, things were different. Adora was the manager, and everyone respected her. She was smart, fair, and always ready to listen. Even though she was in charge, Adora never disrespected Chinedu. She always treated him kindly and valued his ideas. One day, a new employee named Funke joined the company. Funke was very curious and soon noticed how Adora treated Chinedu. She couldn't understand why a boss would respect her husband so much. Funke thought to herself, "If I were the boss, I would make sure everyone knew it. Why doesn't Adora do the same?" At home, Chinedu and Adora's neighbors, Mr. and Mrs. Oladipo, often quarreled. Mrs. Oladipo was proud and always tried to show she was in control. She would shout at Mr. Oladipo, making him feel small. Their loud arguments could be heard all over the neighborhood. One evening, while Chinedu and Adora were sitting outside enjoying the cool breeze, they heard another argument between the Oladipos. Adora sighed and said, "I wish Mrs. Oladipo would understand that respect and kindness are more important than showing power." Chinedu nodded. "Yes, my dear, we should always lead by example." The next day at work, Funke decided to ask Adora why she treated Chinedu with such respect. "Madam, why do you treat your husband like he's the boss, even though you are in charge?" Adora smiled gently. "Funke, a good leader doesn't need to shout or show off their power. Respect and kindness are the real strengths. My husband and I support each other. This is what makes our relationship strong, both at home and at work." Funke was thoughtful for a moment. She realized that being a leader wasn't about making others feel small but about lifting them up. Back in the neighborhood, the other wives started noticing the difference in Chinedu and Adora's relationship. They saw how happy and united they were. Mrs. Oladipo, in particular, couldn't help but feel a bit envious. She wondered if maybe she was doing something wrong. One night, after another argument with Mr. Oladipo, she decided to visit Adora. She knocked on the door, and Adora welcomed her with a smile. "Good evening, Mrs. Oladipo. How can I help you?" Mrs. Oladipo sighed. "Adora, I see how you and Chinedu are always happy. How do you manage it?" Adora invited her to sit down. "It's all about respect and understanding. We see each other as equals and always try to lift each other up, not tear each other down." Mrs. Oladipo listened carefully. She had never thought about it that way. She decided to give it a try and started treating her husband with more respect and kindness. Slowly, the Oladipo household began to change. The arguments became less frequent, and there was more laughter. Other neighbors noticed and began to wonder what had happened. The changes in the neighborhood caused quite a stir. People began to ask questions and seek advice from Chinedu and Adora. They were curious about how respect and kindness could make such a difference, but not everyone was ready to change. Some wives, like Funke, still believed that showing power was more important than respect. The neighborhood buzzed with discussions, some curious and some resistant. As weeks passed, the changes in the Oladipo household inspired other neighbors to seek advice from Edeora and Chinedu. They became an unofficial counseling duo, guiding couples on how to foster mutual respect and understanding. Their approach was simple but effective: open communication, empathy, and support. One weekend, the neighborhood organized a barbecue, inviting all the families to come together. It was an opportunity for everyone to relax, enjoy good food, and bond. Chinedu and Edeora were asked to speak about their relationship and the importance of mutual respect. With a gentle smile, Edeora addressed the gathering. Relationships thrive on respect, kindness, and mutual support. It's not about who's in charge but how we uplift each other. Chinedu added, "We are all human, and we all have our strengths and weaknesses. Embracing these and supporting one another is the key to happiness, whether at home or work." The crowd listened intently, absorbing their words. Even Funke, who had been skeptical, began to see the wisdom in their approach. She realized that leadership and relationships weren't about dominance but about cooperation and mutual growth. As the evening progressed, the atmosphere was filled with laughter, shared stories, and newfound friendships. The barbecue became a turning point for many families in the neighborhood, sparking a shift towards more harmonious and respectful interactions. Over the next few months, Adora and Chinedu's influence grew. They started a weekly discussion group where neighbors could share their experiences, seek advice, and learn from each other. The group became a safe space for open dialogue and support, strengthening the community bonds. Even in the workplace, the positive changes were noticeable. Funke, inspired by Adora's leadership style, began to approach her own work with more empathy and respect. She found that her colleagues responded better, and the overall work environment improved. One day, Adora received a letter from the company's head office. It was an invitation to speak at a leadership conference about fostering a positive work culture through respect and kindness. Happily, she shared the news with Chinedu, who hugged her proudly. "You deserve this, Adora. You've made such a difference in so many lives." As they prepared for the conference, Adora and Chinedu reflected on their journey. They knew that their story was just beginning and that their message of respect and kindness would continue to spread, making a positive impact wherever it went. At the conference, Adora's speech was met with standing ovations. She shared their journey, emphasizing the power of respect and kindness in transforming relationships and work environments. She concluded with a powerful lesson: true leadership and love are not about asserting dominance but about fostering an environment where everyone feels valued and supported. When we lift each other up, we all rise together. Chinedu added, "In our personal and professional lives, let's strive to be examples of compassion and mutual respect. These values are the foundation of any thriving community." Their words resonated deeply with the audience, inspiring many to rethink their approaches to leadership and relationships. Back home, their community continued to thrive. The discussion group grew, with more families embracing the principles of empathy and respect. The neighborhood transformed into a close-knit community where kindness was the norm. Even Funke, who had once doubted the power of kindness, became a vocal advocate for it. She often recalled Adora's words and applied them in her own life, both at work and at home. In the end, the lessons from Chinedu and Adora's story were clear: respect and kindness are the true strengths in any relationship. These values not only bring happiness and harmony but also create a ripple effect, positively impacting everyone around. Their journey showed that when we lead with our hearts, we can transform our world. one relationship at a time.